Hi, it's Granny B from Fort Smith, Arkansas, and today I am going to show you a few ways to take $6 worth of chicken and turn it into several different products. We buy this when it's on sale for $5.98, so that's basically $6 for 10 pounds. You just can't get any cheaper than that. We are going to can legs and thighs. Sometimes they put the backbone on here too. There's one with some back on it. So we're going to can legs and thighs. We're going to take the backs and make chicken stock and dog food of all things. And I'm even going to make some faux bacon rind snacks, but we're making them out of chicken skin. The first thing we're going to ask Papa Bruce to nip the biggest part of this leg bone off. Even if he just breaks the bone for me, then I'll finish cutting it off with my knife. I cut this part off with my knife. Okay, there's the backbone. There's quite a bit of good meat right there, and we're going to put these scrap pieces just in a little bowl. There's the leg joint, cut the thigh and the leg apart, and I want some of this fat in my canned chicken. So there's a leg piece, there's the thigh piece, and look at all this extra skin and fat we have here, so we're going to peel some of that off. There's the thigh. Since we're making dog food too, I've been saving a few things out of the refrigerator, and in anticipation of doing this, here we cooked potatoes last night and had mashed potatoes for supper. This morning I fried up some turkey, ground turkey, and that's the liquid that came off the ground turkey. We're going to save that. And here's the liquid, the bloody-ish liquid out of my bag here. And so we're going to put that in as liquid. We've got our thighs in this bowl, drumsticks in this one. We've got all of the scraps that we're going to make dog food out of. That's the backs and those leg bone, ends of the leg bones. And then we've got the fat. And I just finished washing this fat. So we're going to take the fat and make little crumbles out of it. If you like pork rinds as a snack, well, this is the kosher version of a pork rind. And we're just gonna cut that up into small pieces, and then we're going to put it in a frying pan and just render it out. We'll separate out the crumbles, and we'll separate out the fat, and we're even going to can the fat. I've got the skin pieces cut into smaller little tidbits, and I am frying them away. I'm going to put them on about a medium high, but you do have to watch it. Use a wide mouth jar. Put one or two, whatever you can fit into these jars, just put them in there. So there's one leg, one thigh, and that is going to fill my jar up to the 1-inch line. Notice the bone is in there, and that's okay, because the bone is going to give us extra flavor. Plus, by the time you pressure cook them and can them, that bone will be tender enough to eat. And yeah. I like gnawing on the bones myself.
They are good.
And of course, the bones in here, once we can the dog food, that will be okay for our little girl to even eat, because it's kind of like salmon. When you pressure cook it, makes it tender. Okay, see how much fat that's rendering out of that skin? And we'll just continue doing this until the cracklings are nice and brown. and we can pour that fat up into a little jar, and it's going to can itself. Okay, right here we have the skin crumbles rendering out pretty good. This is just about ready to put on a paper towel to drain, and I'll show you how we're going to can the fat. And I'm going to go real slow and let that jar get up to temperature so it doesn't bust it. It's just an extra precaution. Put a clean lid on it, and because this is so hot that when it cools down, it will suck that lid down, and you'll have some canned chicken fat ready to go. Now you can eat these skin crumbles just right out of your hand, or you can put them on top of salad, or you can put them in cornbread. Okay, the chicken parts have boiled just enough to where they're going to give me a little bit of flavor and a little bit of fat in my broth. So I'm taking these pieces out, and we're going to let them cool a little bit before we start packing them into the jars. And I'm going to pour this broth into this jar. Okay, next I'm going to show you how we're going to finish these canning jars. And now we're ready to start the cold pack method, and it's just the raw chicken in there. That's all you put in it other than some salt. You get your canner ready by making sure the rack is in the bottom, and you put 2 inches of water in the bottom, and it brings it up to the 2-inch level there. You put half a teaspoon of salt in the jars. Even though there's no water in this, you can save some room by debubbling. There'll get a pocket in there, and you can't push your chicken down any further. But move those pockets around, and you'll be surprised how much that chicken goes down. I dip a paper towel into some vinegar. I clean the rims off. You don't want any barriers between your lid and your rim. This is new to me, just putting these lids on like this. I'm from the old school where we used to put the lids and the rings in a pan and bring it to a simmer. But they say you don't have to do that anymore. And so I've been canning this year with the new batch of stuff I've been canning this year. I haven't done that, and I've had real good success. On the occasion when I have something that did not seal, I just put it in the refrigerator and used it the next day. So plain cold packed chicken, bone in. Okay, we've got 7 pints of chicken. Here's my leftover vinegar. It goes right into my canner, and that holds down the scale. Put your lid on and wait for it to start steam. Steam for 10 minutes, and then you put your weights on. See you in about 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. We are exhausting real well. Our pop-up valve is up, so we're going to put our weight on. The next thing we're going to do is wait until the pressure continues to build up, and when it reaches 10 pounds of pressure, this is going to start rocking back and forth. For raw chicken, it's 75 minutes. So we're going to let that come up, and I'll bring you to the next step as we get to it. Okay, here's what you want to be looking for, is that little weight to be rocking back and forth. With it rocking as steady as it is, we know we're up to 10 pounds pressure. So we start our timer at 75 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to start working on the dog food, because my dog food is going to be the next canner that I do. I showed you that sausage juice. I had cooked some turkey sausage, and there was some sausage juice. We had some potato water. Gonna put that in there. We're gonna let that come to a simmer. Now here's all those backbones. I've cut them into small pieces. So there is quite a bit of bone in there, but there's also quite a bit of meat. Because she can eat those bones once we get it pressurized. And that's going to be real good for her. I don't always have homemade dog food for her, just whenever I can. We've got about a quart of bones, so I think we could probably put in a cup of rice. Rice or oatmeal is a good filler, but you don't want too much because you want them to mostly have the protein, but they do need some carbs. So this was some leftover rice from the other night, so we're just gonna put it in there. And then they need a little vegetable. And especially with our little girl, sometimes when she's just eating kibble all the time, she needs a little help with her digestion, and so the orange vegetables are wonderful. Pumpkin, carrots, sweet potatoes, and it just so happens that I've got some pumpkin. I cut up a pumpkin the other day, and I will be dehydrating this. But right now, while it's still fresh, I'm just going to put it in her dog food, and we'll put some of that wonderful broth that we saved over there. You don't need too much of this. Just don't put onions. I've heard that onions are bad for dogs. She's down here just staring up at me. She knows what I'm doing. She likes the homemade dog food better than she likes her store brand. That was about 1.5 cups of rice. This is going to be about 1 cup of... Now on the dog food, for our little girl, she weighs 10 pounds, so she only needs about 1/4 cup of dog food a day per meal. We feed her twice a day. So that would be about half of one of these jars. And so I use the small jars. Okay, I'm going to start filling my jars for the dog food now. And I want to make sure that I get enough meat in each one of them, and enough rice, and enough pumpkin in each one of them. I just kind of try to spread it around. Again, you may be asking, why go to all that trouble? It's because I don't like wasting stuff. Do you hear her growling at me? That's her telling me. She knows. She knows what this is, and she can't wait for Mama to get done with it. We got them debubbled, and it looks like we're going to have 8 half pints. We've got a little bit of juice left. I'm just going to pour that up into a pint jar and label it for dog broth, so we can put it over her dry kibble. And that'll make it good anyway. And we're just going to pour that into there. Okay, I've debubbled all of the jars. Now it's time to seal them up until we get ready to do our canning. So we clean the rims with the vinegar. Okay, we've got a little bit of vinegar left. We're going to put it in the cooker whenever it is ready to be loaded. Okay, they're all done. Just need to be processed. And then I'm not going to show you that process, but it's the same as what we did with the canned chicken. Because it's raw meat, we're gonna do it under 10 pounds of pressure for 75 minutes. And then we're through for the day. I'll at least show you the chicken when it comes back. Okay, our timer went off, and it'll go about 10 more minutes or so. So we're just going to leave it alone. The next thing that's going to happen is this little valve will drop down. This little valve will drop down as the pressure lowers. And when that drops down, this will stop jiggling. At that point, it'll be okay to open the lid. But for right now, we're just going to leave it alone and let it stay there. And so we'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, we're still waiting, but it's going to happen any minute now. Okay, it just went down. I hope you got to see that. So now that it's gone down, you can take the weight off. A lot of people just go ahead and leave this in. But I like to get them out right away so that they can, so that you can see if they sealed or not. We're going to open this away from your face and just let the steam escape. Okay? A little bit more. Okay. Sure smells good in here. Looks like we had a jar break. I very rarely have a jar break. One of them popped, two of them. There. Okay, we're gonna cover these so there's not too much of a breeze coming over them. Okay, we're gonna cover these so there's not such a big draft difference, and we'll check them in an hour. Meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and start loading my dog food jars. We've got 8 more loaded, and we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to turn this on, bring it up to steam, put the lid on, and because it's meat, we're going to cook it for 75 minutes too, at 10 pounds of pressure. Okay, I've finished the dog food, and it's popping. Some of it's popping already. So, we've had a busy day. We took 10 pounds of chicken legs and thighs, and we got 6 pints, and they're all sealed, and they're beautiful. Then when you open this jar of chicken, you'll have enough for a chicken salad to make a chicken salad sandwiches. So we got 6 pints of chicken, 1 pint of broth that we'll pour over the dog food, almost a quart. I would say that's probably a quart of chicken broth that I'm going to use for soup or vegetables or whatever. We got this much chicken fat, and it's already canned, so I can leave this on the shelf for months and it'll be good. Anytime I need a little bit of chicken fat. We got some chicken crumbles. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 half pints of dog food. All 8 of them have already sealed. So we just have to leave them there and let them cool down. I think that's been a good night. And I hope you have a good night too. Thank you for sticking with me today. And I hope that someday you take your own effort, make your own effort to can up some chicken, because it's so nice to have a can of chicken waiting for you if you've been outside and you're hot and you're tired and you don't want to mess with supper. Just open a can of chicken, make chicken salad, chicken sandwiches, chicken noodle soup. And I'm not going to leave that cover on there because they're already cool enough to the touch. But I am going to cover these and keep any drafts off of them for a while. But that's what you can do with 10 pounds of chicken for $6. That's the ultimate stretch. So this has been Granny B's Kitchen. Take any of this that you can use for your own self and make it your own. Thank you.